Hi guys, I'm Kasha. Welcome to the channel and welcome as always to our coffee times to discuss movies and horror. And today I'm here to talk to you about a movie that came out earlier this year, and that is Consecration.
It's coffee time!
When this movie was announced, I was excited to say the least because of, the poster, the thematic. When the trailer came out, I was excited, looking forward to it. It's also directed by Christopher Smith, who directed Triangle, and Triangle is one of those movies that I think is a hidden gem. Really loved it, so I was really excited to see what he was gonna do next. I was able to recently watch it, and here are my spoiler-free thoughts. Consecration is a supernatural horror thriller film directed by Christopher Smith. Shot in Scotland in the Isle of Skye, this movie came out earlier this year in February 2023. Christopher Smith co-wrote and directed the movie. You might know him from other movies like Creep, Triangle, Severance, The Banishing, many other movies that he has behind his back. And like I said, I really love Triangle, so I was really excited to check this one out. After the suspicious death of her brother, who was a priest, Grace travels to the Mount Saviour convent in Scotland to find out what really happened. Once there, she uncovers murder, sacrilege, and a disturbing truth about her own past. Jenna Malone plays the character of Grace, our main character, and I really do love her as an actress, so I was also excited to see her taking here the main role. So her character is a woman that does not believe in religion, so she's very opposite to her brother that was a priest. She learns about the death of her brother and she decides to go to the convent to talk to the people there to see what happened, kind of investigate a little bit what happened to him. Now, when she gets there, everybody tells her that it was a suicide, but she knows deep down that her brother would never commit suicide. Mother Superior says that, she believes that her brother was possessed by a demon and that's why he did what he did. And it is already an interesting clash because you have people in the convent like Mother Superior and the other nuns that are very religious, and then you have Grace that is going there trying to find out, facts and science and what happened to her brother, like specifically, and she's confronted with these beliefs about demons and all of that. And I was really engaged so far and I was really interested to see what was going to happen when you put somebody that is a non-believer in such a scenario. Also in the mix is Father Romero, and he comes from the Vatican to reconsecrate the grounds because they have been compromised since people have been killed, especially supposedly, allegedly, there's been a suicide. From there, the movie starts to get a little bit, for me, it started to lose its sense. We get a lot of flashbacks to Grace's past to kind of understand where she comes from, how her childhood was like, things that happened to her. But the movie started losing me as well. Apart from the flashbacks, we have possible hallucinations from the 12th century, like really gruesome hallucinations that Grace is having, and we don't know why she's having these hallucinations. And I feel like the mashup of everything that was going on, it ended up being quite messy. I think they were trying to put all of these threads and whip them in together and make it coherent, but for me, it failed. Another thing is that the character of Grace, I didn't quite understand her journey, her purpose. Is she just going there to really find out what happened to her brother? Is she there looking for a spiritual awakening? Is this something related to her childhood? I just feel like her journey as a character is not quite explained or understood. Maybe it was just me that I didn't get the whole point of her character. But those are things that bother me, and I know that the actress really tried her best because she is a good actress. I really like her, but I just could not connect with her character because I did not understand her journey. Also, none of the other characters are really given any character depth, so that's something that for me personally bothers me in this type of movies that are supposed to be a little bit more, like a serious horror movie. I'm not talking about like these comedies or other type of horror slashers where character depth is not really something that you're looking for. Even though we did get gorgeous locations and we got beautiful hills and ancient buildings, I feel like the way everything was shot was a little bit lazy. They didn't really do anything exciting. Also, between the different things that we are seeing, the hallucinations, the flashbacks, you know, a police station or where she works and the convent and everything, there is a little difference when it comes to the visuals, so everything kind of blurs in together, which makes it even more confusing, and it didn't help at all. For me, this movie, I think the biggest issue was the structure, the way the movie was put together. I feel like it just didn't end up working the way they had it in their heads. I felt like they had this different type of threats, like I said before, and they wanted to bring the viewer to all of these different things and combine them all together in a beautiful ending, and it didn't work that way, at least for me. As other movies from the director, obviously, like Triangle, this movie does also bend time and space a little bit, and you are in different timelines, hence the flashbacks, hallucinations to the 12th century. We have the present, but I just don't think it succeeded and it worked as well as it did for Triangle. The thing is, the movie is bringing everything that it should for having a really good horror movie. All the elements and the different themes that they tried to integrate in the story. But I feel like also the big reveal or the big mystery, which was the most powerful thing this movie had, is something that you could see coming from miles away. It's something that was so obvious at times that you were just waiting for it to happen. Another thing that the movie has is that they use way too many tropes. It's like trope after trope, and at some point I honestly lost a little bit of my interest in the movie. I was just waiting for the movie to wrap up and be over because I was done with it, which made me really sad because, like I said, the theme, the location, you know, the director, the actors, I was really excited about it, and it didn't end up being a movie that I even enjoyed. There is also a police investigation going on that honestly the only thing that it does is to hurt the pacing of the movie. It doesn't really bring anything that is needed, so I also didn't understand what they had to include that. The movie honestly was at its best when we get to the third act, because then the director really did excel a little bit when it comes to the time and the space bending. That's what he knows how to do best. I just feel like in general in the movie it didn't have the impact that it should have had. While it is a religious themed movie, it does have a fresh take on this horror subgenre. This is not another exorcism movie, but it does get quite violent and intensely creepy. They are trying to they're trying to extend the main mystery of the movie because that's their most powerful weapon, so they're dragging that throughout the film, which is also the thing didn't help with the pacing. The movie centers a lot on mind games and psychological horror and what the things that you're seeing, are they true, are they not, are they hallucinations? It plays a lot with that. But the scares are super repetitive. You know what's gonna happen. They are very tropey, the type of horror that they use to scare you or to get you unsettled. And even though the movie offers a unique take on demon possession, I'm afraid it did not succeed in general as a horror movie. I kind of wish he would have taken that cool concept that he had, that different take on demon possession, and he would have explored it, you know, from the beginning of the movie, and it would have been a little bit more intense in the horror, and he wouldn't have waited to the very end to deliver that and then the movie's over. So I don't know, I feel like I don't want to be too negative with the movie. I even considered not doing this review, but I just wanted to share my thoughts. I don't want to be too negative because obviously other people have absolutely loved this movie. I have seen excellent reviews. Maybe it was just not the movie for me. I think in general this movie tried to be a lot more clever than what it actually was, if that makes sense. So that's kind of like the vibe that I got. At the end, I think I was a little bit harsh, but I did give this movie a 1.5 out of 5 because the pacing didn't work for me. The horror didn't work. The main mystery was something that you could kind of see coming. And at the end of the day, the characters also didn't have any character depth. You didn't have any attachment with them. And the whole kind of, you know, time bending they were trying to bring with the flashbacks and the hallucinations, it only made the movie a lot more confusing than it should have been. It only made, you know, the main mystery more diluted. It was an interesting idea. I do like, at the end of the day, the kind of idea they had to do a movie about faith, a movie about demonic possession. I really enjoyed that it was not just your typical, you know, exorcist movie where the church is involved or anything like that. So there were a lot of positive things that the movie was bringing to the table, but the execution just didn't bring it for me. So you guys, this was my spoiler-free review on Consecration. I'm sorry this was not a really hyped positive review, but these were just my honest thoughts on the movie and why it didn't work for me. A lot of people out there love it, so you know, maybe you love it. Let me know down below if you have seen the movie, what you thought of it, and which is your favorite Christopher Smith movie so far. Let's talk about it in the comments. Thank you guys as always so much for watching, and I hope to see you all in our next coffee time. Bye!